Hello, I'm Andrew Ryman.
And I'm Rhiannon Hubbard, and our topic this week was ecological psychology.
What is ecological psychology? Ecological psychology is the study of how environmental factors such as unemployment and social settings prevail on a person's mind to affect behavior. Ecological psychology developed as a reaction against the narrow clinical approach to treatment and disenchantment with psychotherapy, and it is considerably more eclectic in its assumptions. Ecological psychologists argue that psychotherapy has not demonstrated its effectiveness. Traditional psychology is accused of using a medical model with a, quote, passive help giver who wants for the client to define his or her own need and then request to help.
Why is it used? The focus of community psychology is not to find out what is wrong with the individual. Rather, the emphasis is on looking at what is right with the person and his or her fit with the culture and environment. Thus, this approach is much more encompassing than traditional psychological and clinical approaches.
How is it used? According to Levine and Perkins, the people and settings within a community are independent. First, change occurs in a whole social system, not just in an individual, and thus a variety of different problem definitions and solutions are possible in any situation. Second, community systems involve resource exchanges among persons and settings involving commodities such as time, money, and political power. Third, the behavior that we observe in a particular individual always reflects a continuous process of adaptation between the individual and his or her level of competence and the environment, with the nature and range of competence it supports. Adaptation can thus proceed by changing in the environment as well as the person. Finally, change occurs naturally in a community as well as by intentional design, and change represents an opportunity to redefine and reallocate resources in ways that facilitate adaptation by all populations in the community.
What is ecological psychology's relationship to crime? In a recent contribution to criminology that integrates learning theory and community and environmental psychology, Julie Horney criticizes criminology for not recognizing the diversity of psychological perspectives. She focuses on the learning theory and states that psychological perspectives are often reduced to trait theory, with some people seen as possessing a set of global traits that predispose behavior. Instead, her approach emphasizes the situational specificity of behavior, that is, situations such as the separate spheres of work, home, school, bar, and the street, that provides a way of analyzing the disposition to offend that is manifest when opportunities arise. Thus, crime is understood through particular patterns of behavior, situation, contingencies. She argues that although behavioral learning is a valuable component of understanding crime, the context of learning is also important. She argues that organisms must be understood not just as learning new behaviors, but also as maintaining certain behaviors over the long term. Her work challenges simplistic understandings of the criminal mind, focusing instead on the specificity of and the environmental consistencies evident in individual lives. Consistent with the community and environmental view, her approach leads psychological criminology to a greater appreciation of longitudinal and life course understandings of criminal behavior that interweave with the social and environmental context.